Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Interjections podcast, a subtitle we call the Undiscovered Decade. We look back in the 1990s, 30 years prior to the month we're in, and we look at what we could find as hidden gems in the month. We go through every film or most films that come out that month, and we try to figure out what we would like best and what people sort of left in the past. I'm sure the four guys in this film might want to leave the events of this night in the past. There's a film that we watched called Judgment Night, and it stars four guys: Emilio Estevez, Jeremy Piven, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Stephen Dorff, who end up getting into some trouble when they divert their trip on the way to a boxing match in Chicago into the ghetto and accidentally see a murder.
Little story. This is also a sequel to Judgment Day.
Terminator 2. This is a side plot, I guess.
Dennis Leary is actually a T-1000.
I mean, he's relentless, so it actually follows.
Because this is an alternate reality where Skynet doesn't exist, so this is what happens around the corner from John Connor's home on his birthday.
You know, Dennis Leary would have been a good T2 or T-1000. I mean,
It's just for
You mean Bill Hicks would have been?
worse situation.
oh, I was waiting for you to bring that up. I don't know if you guys know this. I only know this from like his Wikipedia page, but
Sure.
Dennis Leary apparently stole all of Bill Hicks' bits. So we got to get through that real quick before we praise him.
You can do scene by scene comparisons of their stand up, and it's
Yeah.
almost verbatim.
Yeah, I never knew that.
No, okay.
I liked them both. I didn't realize.
I mean, I still
this
like
happens
Dennis
all the
Leary as
time.
an actor.
I mean,
But
you
know
see all
they
these
stopped doing
people.
comedy, went into acting.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know what to comment about that because I know that a ton of comedians just steal each other's bits. So
Oh
it
yeah.
sucks that certain people get more popular off of them. So
Like even I think Dave Chappelle, he mentions in one of his shows that like when he was starting out as a comedian when he was a kid, uh he foolishly sold one of his jokes for like, I don't know, $50 or $5 or some crap like that. So like even crap like that, like some comedians lend or sell their jokes to other people.
yeah, I've heard a lot of mischief going on with Louis C.K.
Right.
about stealing jokes.
Oh,
Um,
I mean,
yeah. Yeah, so I guess Dennis Leary is fitting as a villain here, then, eh?
Well, he played a revolutionary a couple of months ago in Demolition Man, so
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was the same year as this.
another thing I've
oh,
seen
nice.
still. But
Why didn't we see that movie just for fun and not for
what
the
month was
podcast?
Demolition Man? Yeah, we should watch
Uh,
it.
I think over the summer
Yeah,
of
like
1920.
July.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. That would be a summer movie.
Yeah. Well, it's
You
cool.
know,
He's up and coming. Whether or not he's on the shoulders of Bill Hicks.
Right.
Oh, it's October. It's this month. This is a big
Oh,
month for Dennis Leary.
oh, so I was wrong. I was going to bring it up.
Okay. Oh, well, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Silly man. I was gonna say, like, I would have remembered you bringing that up in like your monthly
Yeah.
other movies.
Yeah, because this is a big year for Stallone because Cliffhanger was earlier.
That's what was in June or July.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of our poster boys.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, the four guys just happened. Well, Jeremy Piven's character is kind of a dick. So he has to go big
born
and
to play.
loud for this boxing match that they're going to see. And so he gets this caravan that they're going to drive into, an RV, and probably tailgate before the match. But like idiots, they don't think about the fact that they're in a city coming from the suburbs for anything. Any event is going to have traffic. And so they don't leave with enough time and they have to divert. But when they divert, they think they ran someone over and they find out that he was actually shot already, and they entangle themselves within his business. And it turns out that he owed money to Dennis Leary because maybe he was skimming off the top while trying to pick up drug money. we're
The guy that
never
got
we're never
shot, not
clued
Jeremy.
in. Who yeah, not Jeremy
We're,
Piven.
we're
This
clued
guy
in on
they got run over.
the fact that Dennis Leary's character, whether he believes that the money was stolen or like the money was actually stolen. So
Doesn't
we
matter.
don't really know. All that matters is at the end of it, like somebody dies.
And they all saw it. So now the rest of the movie is them being chased. So
I love all in
Because
one
no
night movies.
witnesses.
yeah, I love all in one night movies too. Yeah. What's the one we watched with Jeff Goldblum?
Into the Night with
Into the Night.
directed by John Landis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a bunch of incidents.
After Hours is another one.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of incidents. The first one's all in LA. The latter is in New York. So it's kind of cool to see Chicago a little bit. They don't really go into any landmarks, but
Yeah, that's true.
it is it is an intense cat and mouse game.
They also do something smart to skirt the potential racism of the situation by having Dennis Leary be the ringleader and not just some random African American actor. Because they could have made this really horribly racist and pejorative, but by casting him now in that role, it doesn't paint Chicago as completely whitewashed, at least.
Yeah. What did you think? I remember you bringing something up in the middle of the movie, Jimmy. Trying to get you to say it rather than me.
Ah, man, we really got to make me like write notes down when I say crap like that.
About halfway through. Yeah,
Jimmy's stream of consciousness.
About halfway through, he's like, "Are they corrupt cops?"
Oh yeah, no. I feel like I kind of like was guessing because
you don't think they live there, but
yeah, but my guess, I guess I was guessing at that because earlier like they were trying to chase down cops, a cop car to get basically 911 help because they saw a cop car like, hey, but they missed it. And the way that they were acting, like, are these actually corrupt cops? Is this like a
right.
DEA guy that's just like, one of his like informants was like stealing from him? So he's like, hey. But then it turns out that was not the case.
That could have been
we do have
a
track record of that.
Mm-hmm.
The last one that we watched with Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah, that is what
Striking Distance.
That is what Striking Distance is about. Yeah.
I think there was at least one other one.
Yeah.
With what's his face, Harvey Keitel, a little bit.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
We have a pattern. So
I mean it's very plausible as a plot. So I'm actually kind of glad it's just a bad crime lord that's not very good at his job.
There's 4 good guys in a bad situation.
But you know a story's not going to go well when the synopsis begins with 4 pals.
Yeah.
They're all kind of dicks to each other too. I like that dynamic. I mean,
I'll tell you what,
Emilio doesn't like his own brother, who's Stephen Dorff.
Well, they also set it up. They're all their own archetypes. So like Jeremy Piven is the dick negotiator, who's just like they're setting him up to try to negotiate with everyone later on.
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez is the guy who used to be adventurous but now is like a family man.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to go through his arc. You got Cuba Gooding Jr. as just the hothead friend, and Stephen Dorff as the
ne'er-do-well brother,
hothead younger brother, but just like what he's doing. So he's like the neutral character, really, and it's more about like his journey and everything as well.
I said this, I think like 2 years ago, there was a movie we had 4 main characters. You can always apply something to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
you have
the calm resolute one, the hothead, the techie, and the young one.
I think if you get a little psychological with it, I think the younger brother, like you could say he like represents their past youth,
their missed opportunities.
Well,
he seems freer, but they're all like, oh, he's a crazy man.
He's also the type of person that he's not really living a life. He's not pursuing anything. He kind of is a bit of a deadbeat. But like he represents like I guess their unfulfilled youth and like how like they're all of them are adults now and most of them are acting like kids still, except for our lead, who's a family man now, but like his wife worries that he will like revert back when he's out with his buddies, because that was an issue that he does. Like in the beginning when they introduced them, she was worried that he would do that because he has reverted back to his old self a few times before, and he was like, no, 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 not this time.
Yeah,
So
that was a good setup scene.
It's
yeah.
weird. It's almost like a Charlie Sheen role more so than Emilio Estevez.
Mm-hmm.
He reverts back to Charlie. It's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde.
It
Yeah.
is fun to hear his voice. Sometimes he sounds like Martin. Sometimes he sounds like Charlie. Sometimes he does sound unique.
Yeah.
Like he's a merging of all three of them.
Yeah.
Imagine this is a sequel to the Mighty Ducks. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
once
is what Coach
settles down.
Bombay was doing before he got
Right.
This is why he's in jail.
I'll tell you what, Stephen Hopkins did an amazing job directing this. There's it's very stylish.
Hmm.
A lot of sweeping
Wait.
camera angles.
Stephen Hawkins,
Hopkins.
Oh, I was gonna say like the scientist. Like
No,
wow.
he had just
Imagine.
Interestingly enough, he had just previously done Predator 2, and Alan Silvestri was the composer for that. So if you listen closely, a lot of the Predator 2 soundtrack is on this soundtrack.
A man we just sort of met, Jeff and I.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I don't remember if I told you this, but last month we saw the Back to the Future musical.
Oh, okay, yes.
Debuted on Broadway. And we, through friends, know one of the actors. And so we sort of got a backstage tour. And as we were coming in, Alan Silvestri was coming out. So, unfortunately, we hadn't seen this yet, so we couldn't say, hey, we loved the music of Judgment Night. But we also watched Back to the Future Part 3 for this podcast, so we could have said that.
I mean, he's done other things.
Yeah, he's done a million things.
Yeah, I could definitely hear that in the score. I was like, oh hey.
Yeah.
Recognize those riffs.
Mm-hmm. The soundtrack is actually one of the most popular from the 90s. I had sort of heard this through the grapevine since I hadn't seen this back in the day, or really until now. But it's sort of a merging of hip hop and rock, which led to a lot of fusion albums like Spawn, which was rap and hip hop.
All right. Well,
so it's pretty cool that they did that. It ends up being a very dynamic grouping of songs. That opening montage when they're showing the suburbs with I'm blanking on the name of the song, but it's very mood setting for what's coming later. You know, trying to recapture your youth, getting caught up in a misadventure that is way over your head. Speaking of going over your head. So I don't know. Did you guys like the soundtrack?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Jimmy and I actually listened to it after we watched the film. So
I like the soundtrack. Cinematography was also gorgeous too. For what it was, I was just like, I was not expecting this sort
of. A lot of crane shots.
Right, the stylisticness.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, when you first see Dennis Leary's character, like, he's all in silhouette until the flash of the gun goes off, and that's when you see his face for the first time. I was like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this movie looks like it was probably storyboarded way in advance, because there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of sweeping shots, a lot of dolly shots, a lot of oblique angles, especially during the finale when they're teetering on the brink.
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody else that directed this, it would have came off a little mundane or pedestrian, but Stephen Hopkins brings a lot of his own visual language to this.
They also use the set very well. I mean, the rooftop jump and that ending set piece, they utilize a grocery store pretty well. Using the back, using the, I guess, upstairs very well, trying to get through some storage. So they just are aware of their surroundings very well and utilize that to as much tension as possible. So, and
is there anybody of the four guys that we didn't like?
I liked them all. I thought they all gave.
Stephen Dorff came off a little. He seems a little too old to be the naive younger brother. That's the only thing. Just the age of his character
His look, yeah,
He
I
could have
get
just
that.
been one of their
Yeah.
peers
Well,
instead of being the younger brother, but
He could be a year younger. I mean, imagine like you're only a year older than me, older than
right.
Jimmy, older than Jeff. So we
yeah.
could all be, if Jeff were my younger brother, would you think he's that much younger? I know he's shaved, but
Yes.
but he
His son,
looks our age
like
still.
Right.
Emilio Estevez. Right, exactly.
It's weird having watched this, and then if you watch Entourage later, it'd be like, is this a precursor to Ari? Because
Right.
this feels very much like an Ari type of role for Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven was just born to play douchebags, you know.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
Silver-tongued scoundrels.
yeah.
yes, that's a better word for it.
Mm.
But um, it's interesting though. Like there wasn't really a weak link in the cast at
No.
all. Um,
Even the goons.
it's interesting going back to the Emilio Estevez thing because he was apparently like way not their first choice.
Oh yeah.
They were desperate to like. I was looking up the trivia, and it's like they were at a point where the
John
movie either
Travolta.
had to go. The movie either had to go into production or they were gonna kill it. So, like, they got to Emilio Estevez at some point down the bottom of the page, and he's like, "Okay, I want $4 million to do it." And they're like, "Fuck it, fine."
All right.
And so
Good
as
for
a
you,
result,
It's not
Emilio.
they
bad.
got like a ridiculous
That's
check out of it.
You need me more than I need you.
And it's right, and that's what it was. It was just so it was good because like he had that opportunity, but that's kind of why it feels like he's more like Charlie or is more like someone because they had offered it to like Tom Cruise, Christian Slater,
I
and
see John Travolta
like,
was the top choice.
yeah,
Those
yeah.
all kind of make sense. I could see them all in this role.
And then, of course, in the main villain role, they offered it to Kevin Spacey and Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta would have been great.
Two
Kevin
actual
Spacey
villains.
could have made sense. Well,
Ray
Ray Liotta is
Liotta
the
was gearing up to do Karina. He was trying to get out of being typecast.
yeah.
Mm.
There was another slightly more intense trivia bit, but
Hmm.
Slightly.
well, no, apparently there was an actual like gang related shooting incident during production.
Really
Ooh.
They were
interesting.
filming,
Fun.
they heard like a random gunshot and ran downstairs, and there was
Life imitating art.
like
I
a
guess that doesn't
16-year-old
surprise
kid who
me.
had his head blown off.
Yeah.
So they had to call in the authorities, and then obviously move the production to a different location. But it's like Jesus Christ.
I wonder if that would be an interesting movie in its own right.
The behind the scenes.
Yeah, like
It's an
someone dies
actual
near the set of a film, so they have to cover it up so they can keep running the production. I mean, that's sort of what Last Shot is, or whatever that Matthew Broderick, Alec Baldwin movie
Last
is.
shot.
It is
stop
Last Shot,
giving
yeah.
out our best.
Isn't that the premise of that one show that you watched with Sarah and Darren?
Yeah, it was like a reality show based on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And people kept dying on set, so they kept covering it up so they could keep running episodes of The Bachelor.
So it's there. It already exists.
Sounds
Yeah.
amazing. I want to see
It's called
that.
Unreal. Yeah. Yeah, there were
That's-
3 seasons. There's a guy that kind of looks like you, Jeff, playing a gaffer. So we kept saying like, "Oh man, we're glad that's not actually Jeff because he gets into some shit." So,
Uh,
Well, now I want to see it.
but yeah, the gang stuff reminds me. You were talking, Corey, about how they could have gone a very racially uncomfortable way, and I
Yeah.
think the best set piece is when they go to that one apartment and the goons are confronted by the black community, and Leary takes their leader aside and has a discussion to make sure that they're covered while they're there. And I think it's a very nice, well written conversation.
and shows
set
his
piece.
diplomatic capabilities
Yeah, it
as a
builds his
gangster.
character. It doesn't show, I think, any racist components, and it also sets up like what it's like to be on, say, the South Side of Chicago, compared to what these 4 guys are used to in their suburban life, especially while they're with the 2 women in their apartment, who are way more benevolent than I ever would be.
Right.
Yeah, especially given the circumstances, they were way
Yeah,
too
they shouldn't.
They
The
should have gone out of
early
the way to help
90s
him.
in crappy
Yeah,
Chicago.
they should have gotten rid of them real quick.
Yeah.
But
They should have been like,
They
nuh-uh,
needed
honkies plus black guy.
they
yeah,
needed
Get out of here.
I kept thinking like they have a friend, Cuba Gooding Jr., so that they can get into these places, so that people are disarmed that they're not just all four white guys.
Right.
But I don't know if that's just you or me thinking that, because they
I guess
never
now I
pointed
wasn't
out.
before, but now I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I guess a scenario like that, the fear is when you're writing a script like this, you don't want it to come off contrived because obviously you got to keep it going. You can't have them all get caught within the first 10 minutes. So
Right.
you got to have a way of a race against the clock type element where they're all somehow ahead of their pursuers against their own, using their own wits. But yeah, I definitely think symbolically, the movie, if you look a little bit deeper, is definitely about the yuppie fear of the metropolis or the city. But they don't lapidate you with that. They don't cram it down
Right.
your throat or anything.
Right. Because it's also about the loss of youth. So it's kind of like if you lived in the city, would you still be having a fun life? Or would you get into trouble like this if you went
Right.
the wrong way? Because you're smart enough to not go these places, which place is better to live? So it's all kind of
Right.
wrapped up in one big ball. Um, yeah. I
I
think
think
it's
the
a
moral of
very
the
well
story
written
is
film.
don't go out to have fun. Just stay home.
Just watch a movie. Watch the boxing match from the comfort of your couch.
Yeah. Pay-per-view, everybody.
Just pay-per-view and chill.
He really should have just gotten the RV and they go park somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But no, he was just like the whole, no, I'm gonna do it. No, it's gonna work. No, I got this. No, and that's
Yeah.
his fatal flaw is
Yeah.
It's weird because I guess back then, Dennis Leary wasn't as well known, obviously. So I think if he had played that role nowadays, I might have been too distracted thinking he was going to riff in the middle of the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because he was relatively unknown, I didn't associate with him with being a comedian.
I guess that's why Kevin Spacey might have fit because he was about to have his real breakout role with Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What would you guys give this as a grade?
I give it an A plus.
Yeah, I would go A minus.
Yeah.
I think it's burnished. It's sleek. It's very well done. And like I said, it's like a little over 150 minutes, and it just flies by.
yeah.
You mean an hour 50?
Hour 50, sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like
No,
Scorsese,
it's not a
right? But it
Scorsese
feels
film.
like nothing. Yeah, I'd give it an A. I think. Yeah, it's one of the better films we've ever covered.
Yeah.
It's a shame it didn't do well when it first came out.
Well, apparently the theory behind that was when it came out, there was, I think, like the weekend it premiered, there was a shooting like around the screening or near that, and so the media blamed it on the film itself.
Of course.
And so it was pulled from distribution after only 2 weeks. So that's
why it left. Okay, because it did fine in the box office. It was like third or fourth, I think.
It opened at 5.
Okay, but it only fell to like 6th or 7th, so it was still in there, and then it's gone. And that can happen when there's a lot of films coming out, which October is chock full of, but it's,
as we'll get into.
Yeah. I think the shooting probably had more to do with it than anything else. So that's too bad. Well, that's why we're talking about it now as a hidden gem.
That's show business, baby.
I give it an A. Like it was, because just it was well crafted. It was just a well done movie, but also like I like when the title refers to the plot on multiple levels. Because a lot of the subplot has to do with their first judgments of people. Like the whole time, whenever they go off the highway, they're just like, holy shit, we're in the ghetto. Oh my God, those guys are going to shoot us. Oh my, and it's all just like, they're slowly, proven wrong for the most part. Until they come across the one guy they think they can reason with, and then it's not.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed that, and I'm glad that it was good.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned earlier, Demolition Man came out this month. which is Stallone's second sleeper hit this year. This almost was like a revitalization of his career before Copland came in and reinvigorated his acting chops. But
Yeah.
this is almost this is almost like a prescient uh, action satire, which predicted a lot of things that were going to happen in the future. Obviously, like Zoom, like we're talking over now. There's a lot of telephone communication via screens and stuff like that. Um, the health craze, the
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
running and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. At one point, Sandra Bullock propositions Stallone to have sex, but they're worried about skin to skin contact. So they use headsets in order to have almost telepathic intercourse.
Weird, but VR.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those Stallone movies I think holds up better and better with each passing year. And obviously, the villain is played by Wesley Snipes, and this is one of his best roles.
Nice.
He's fantastic in the movie.
Yeah.
It's also the first time that Stallone would team up with Rob Schneider.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, forgot about
First-
He's
that.
in the movie. He's not quite his sidekick, but he's just a side character.
First of many.
I mean, he's in Judge Dredd.
Oh, that's
as
too
his
bad.
sidekick, yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. But has anybody else seen Demolition Man?
Yep, right here. Many, 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 many times.
There you
Really?
go.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, too many, in fact.
It's too
Oh,
classic
there's
of a
never too
film,
many.
though. Everyone loves Demolition Man,
Yeah,
so too popular.
yeah. Um, so John Candy did a Disney live action film called Cool Runnings
Oh, right. Duh.
about the bobsledding team. And I know this is a beloved classic of our generation.
Oh yeah.
I don't
I
like where
only
this is
saw it
going
recently. I saw it in the last like year and a half.
for the
There
first
you go.
time.
So yeah, it's probably more vivid in your memory than it is mine. I remember enjoying it. I mean, it is fluff, but it is enjoyable. And obviously, John Candy
I
has
mean, it's
that
good fluff.
irresistible charm that he
Mhm.
brings to every role. So
But you don't
um,
like it? Is that what you were saying?
I haven't seen it in a while.
okay.
I remember enjoying it.
Oh, okay. That you worried me by like, I know this is a beloved classic.
No. But this is John Turteltaub, who I
Mhm.
know you really liked from While You're Sleeping.
That's his next thing. And speaking of Sandra Bullock,
Yeah. So he's really good at doing these like middle brow, lightweight comedies.
it's a backhanded compliment.
They're not highbrow, are they? And they're not
While
lowbrow.
you were sleeping is a little too technical in its execution of the plot. You know,
Fair.
you gotta suspend a lot of disbelief.
Fair enough.
But you're right. It's kind of like it's
They're
hard
crowd pleasers.
crowd pleasing. Yeah. So did you like it, Jeff? Because it's fresh in your memory.
I enjoyed it. Um, I can see why it was such a classic. It was just
I
an
don't see a lot of
odd
bobsledding movies is a thing.
You know, right?
That's a sport that isn't really portrayed in the films.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a an inspirational tale.
Yeah. I gotta watch it finally.
Ripped from headlines,
Hey,
based
come on, you got Disney Plus. Let's go
For now.
for
They
now.
doubled their price on that.
That's true. And Netflix is about to do the same
Losing me
thing.
November 18th.
Oh man, so soon.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, what else
Um,
could happen?
He's like,
So-
moving on.
Shortly after he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, unbeknownst to us,
Oh,
Michael J. Fox was doing
Jesus.
a lot of cash grab films, and this was one of them. For the Love of Money.
this is the 30th anniversary of his diagnosis.
Sure, it was around the time of Doc Hollywood, which we covered last year, I believe.
Yeah, that
Um,
sucks.
so this is actually a rare foray into romantic comedy for Barry Sonnenfeld, and he obviously consciously restrains his very overamped cinematography, which he's used in like Blood Simple, and some of his own
Men
movies,
in
like the
Black.
Ace
Yeah.
Family movies. Yeah. You and I watched it, I remember, in a Netflix watch party a few years ago during the pandemic.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that was like our first
actually,
thing we watched together.
I remember it being pretty ingratiating. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked
And
it.
Gabrielle Anwar is breathtaking as
Hmm.
the other romantic lead in this.
Yeah, this could
Um,
have been the other choice for us, but I think I really wanted to see Judgment Night.
I think Judgment Night ultimately is a better
I
movie.
think we made a good call.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
They
think this
didn't.
is a better
They didn't
film
make a good
than
call.
For Love or Money, but if
Heroes.
you're interested in seeing a hidden gem of Michael J. Fox's career, this is definitely a good choice.
sure.
So,
Malice came out this month, which is one of the first scripts adapted from Aaron Sorkin after like A Few Good Men.
mhm.
Um, it's a medical thriller that has a very labyrinthian plot. Some people might know because it's gone viral. There's a speech by Alec Baldwin who plays this very arrogant surgeon who has a god complex, and
Oh, so not far from the
so
truth.
there's a monologue that he gives about how he is God. Very
Mhm.
Aaron
Yeah.
Sorkin, haughty, uh, narcissistic speech, which is the highlight of the film.
Yeah.
The movie itself gets a little too convoluted in its Hitchcockian mechanisms, but overall it's decent. But again, uh, the plot becomes a little too uh, complicated for its own good.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
It's the one Aaron Sorkin thing I haven't seen.
Well, I mean, it's worth looking at for
Yeah.
obviously the dialogue. The dialogue
Cool.
sparkles as in anything by Aaron Sorkin.
Who else is in it? Is it Demi
Uh,
Moore?
it's uh, it's Bill Pullman, Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. There's another good reason to watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very sultry in the movie. Um, a movie Jeff might know about, giving his stage background, and Butterfly. David Cronenberg did a adaptation of this source material. Um,
An interesting choice.
yeah, it's weird. John Lone plays the. I don't like. Should I give anything away about the plot?
Why not?
Because it's about this French diplomat played by Jeremy Irons who goes over to China to broker like relations, and he falls in love with this concubine who actually turns out to be a man. It's played by John Lone.
Hmm.
Um, it. What I like about the Cronenberg version is he leaves it ambiguous as to whether Jeremy Irons knew this the whole time or he's just deluding himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's very impressionistic. It's very dry as well. It's very intellectual, cerebral. It's a weird uh, material for Cronenberg because it's not body horror, which we usually associate with him.
Mm.
But overall,
So
it's a great springboard for Jeremy Irons.
he did Dead Ringers, right?
Dead Ringers, in my opinion, is better.
So this is a follow up they did together. So maybe it was something
Yes.
Irons wanted to do. So he
Yeah.
got maybe they're friends.
Right. Does Jeff know anything about the play? Maybe not.
I know
Yes.
I've never seen it or read it actually. So
I
Oh, okay.
knew about the going over to Asia to have relations or diplomatic relations, but I didn't know anything beyond that. So I
Okay.
wonder if it's M Butterfly because maybe Madame Butterfly is more overt, and this is changing the plot of Madame Butterfly to ambiguity. Ambiguity.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Um, Robert Altman did an omnibus anthology movie called Shortcuts.
Hmm.
It's got Jack Lemmon, it's got Julianne Moore. It's all these intersecting stories. It's almost like Pulp Fiction without the crime element. Um, so it's a slice of life movie. It's almost like something that Lawrence Kasdan was doing a lot back then. So it gets these big ensemble casts, and it's all very existential, but it's very good. It's very funny. Um, all the cast is given like really juicy roles. It's out on Criterion if anybody wants to check it out. Um, Nicolas Cage. We all love Nicolas Cage. Sometimes he's
Supposedly.
sometimes. Sometimes he's consciously subdued. Sometimes he's given free reign to do whatever he wants. This was one of those times in Deadfall, which was directed by his
Mm.
brother. Um, Actually, Trista and I talked to one of the cast members at a Comic-Con, Michael Bean, about this, and he pretty much said that Nicolas Cage was given free reign to do whatever he wanted with the script, and you can tell watching the movie. I mean, he's
Yeah.
entertaining, but
Didn't
he's going to the rafters in this one.
didn't Bean say it was kind of aggravating and he didn't really want to talk about it?
Yeah, in fact, he pointed to the booth next to him. He's like, "This guy was supposed to be in it." And do you remember who was supposed to be in that booth next to him? Val
Val
Kilmer.
Kilmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he kind of made it sound like he was coerced into doing it by his management team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Outside of Nicolas Cage, the movie's not good. And it's debatable to say whether he even gives a good performance, but in a tongue-in-cheek way, it's entertaining to watch. Um, Other than that, it's a very run-of-the-mill crime drama.
Yeah. I remember this being on the short list of what we could do, but you were like, please don't do this
It's
to
not.
us.
It's not a legitimately good movie.
Yeah. I wanted to cover Nicolas Cage, but I think we're going to next year.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
A movie that was slated for a television premiere, but also got a theatrical release at the same time based on accolades was Gettysburg.
Yeah.
So Ted Turner, I guess, had seen the final product and he was like, "This is good enough to go theatrical." And given the movie's runtime, I think it's about 4 hours, right?
Yeah, a
Split up
little
into
under.
2 nights, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
on TBS. But it's a very comprehensive, expansive overview of that battle. And
Yeah. It covers all 3 days. And
yeah,
after a little bit of the aftermath and a bit of the precursor stuff. Because you have
and
the
I
guy
can tell why he
surveying the
didn't.
land and he knew it was going to be where the battle was, and that's the Sam Elliott character.
I can see why he wanted to go theatrical because just based on the filmmaking alone, it's very sprawling. It doesn't feel like a TV film. It feels very cinematic, and honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if some of these people had gotten nominated based on this, like Martin Sheen or even Jeff Daniels.
Mm-hmm. And it
Um,
made
Oh yeah.
they're actually changing that area that Jeff Daniels' character, Joshua Chamberlain, fought on, Little Round Top.
right,
They're currently expanding it because that's become, over the last 30 years, the most popular part of the battlefield. So people come just to see that part for what was essentially the scene in this film.
right.
Oh, neato.
Yeah, and Joshua Chamberlain was not a household name or anything, so
Oh, so the movie made him famous.
famous enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting that like 100 so odd years ago,
Yeah, the
so
director,
later.
the director F. Ronald Maxwell has made almost a career out of examining the Civil War because then years later he did
Yeah,
Gods and Generals from the South's point of view, and it was not well received.
Oh yeah, no. For a good
yeah,
reason.
Yeah,
and he did a third film that people barely heard about with
Copperhead.
your old buddy Billy Campbell.
Yes.
Um, and it's such a low budget film. The guy's obviously a big Civil War buff and just wants to make Civil War films. He
Yeah.
wanted to make Jeff Shara's trilogy that was about the Civil War,
Yeah.
but no one
Because
really cared after Gettysburg, even though
because Gods and
well,
Generals did so poorly at the box office that never got made. So
kind of
Yeah.
erased this type of film from existing.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
um Peter Weir did a movie about the survivor's guilt called Fearless
Mm,
with Jeff Bridges giving an excellent performance as usual.
yeah.
It's him and Rosie Perez is they're on a flight that crashes and they're the two survivors and they kind of share this kinship because of their experience. The Jeff Bridges stuff is good. I think the Rosie Perez stuff is a little underwhelming, so it's
Mm,
kind of lopsided in that regard.
yeah.
But Honestly, it's weird. It's like a precursor to Unbreakable. I think
Oh,
actually deals with this material a little bit better,
true. It is more
weirdly
like
enough.
I was going to say it was kind of like that Dustin Hoffman film where he crashes in a plane and then is kind of a
Hero.
dick to everybody. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like the opposite of Hero.
yeah.
So not like Castaway.
I mean, they all have planes.
Fair. It's not. I guess in a way, it's kind of like Flight as well.
Yeah,
Um, although he didn't land the plane.
yeah.
Um, so speaking of inspirational films, one movie that I remember being on constant rotation at my school was Rudy,
Hmm.
which is the Notre Dame movie about a scrawny kid played by Sean Astin who dreams of being on the football team at Notre Dame. Actually, it was a launching pad for a lot of actors and writer directors that we now know. It's one of Vince Vaughn's early roles, and
Hmm.
Jon Favreau. They actually met on the film.
I didn't remember Vince Vaughn being in it. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and
I
this
remember
was
Favreau.
yeah, and now Favreau, obviously in charge of the whole Star Wars television universe,
Yeah.
and he started the MCU. I think the movie's a little sappy for what it is, but I can see why people like it.
Movie
I
in
like
college.
Rudy. Rudy's a good movie.
Yeah.
You've seen it, Jeff?
Yeah, I only saw it in college though, so
Mm.
it was
Hmm.
good though.
Ironic.
Yeah.
I had already not decided to go to Notre Dame for football, so
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Must have been a hard decision.
I know. I
What
was
else came
there
out
for
this month?
however many years.
all right, so the last movie is a movie that just got a re-release. Actually, it's a I guess a cult classic now, Nightmare Before Christmas, which everybody
Hmm.
associates with Tim Burton directing, but he was actually just a producer. Henry Selick,
Yeah,
No,
he
no.
he was the creator of it essentially.
He,
right?
cre- he created the characters, but then the story and everything was.
It's all Henry Selick,
Yeah,
who would later on go do James and Giant Peach, Coraline. He's a great director. This movie,
Yeah,
I think, is overrated, though. I've never been a fan.
kind of agree. I don't know. I actually, the first encounter I had with it was when I was 6 in December 93, or I guess 7 by then. But we went to Disney, my parents and I, and you'd have one of the tours or one of the rides was like a tour through the backstage area. So you could
Yeah.
see people working on stuff. And they had the maquettes for Nightmare Before Christmas still up because it had just come out in theaters. So they wanted to showcase what had been going on while they were animating. So they had desks off to the side and they had like what they were going to do for the stop motion tables and everything. So I was like, what is this? I had never heard of it. I had missed it coming out 2 months earlier.
Right.
Like nothing you want to see. Don't worry about it. Because
devil worshipping.
they didn't want to see it. So they had kind of had me ignore it or
Yeah.
covered it up for me. So,
Make it sound like a
Then-
conspiracy. It was covered up
then
for you.
well,
10
I
years
didn't
later,
see it
you're
until I
just
was in
like,
college.
and then 10 years later, we're just like, why is that weird movie my parents hated all over the store that I'm at and the
Yeah.
mall?
Yeah. Yeah. Because all
Why
my
do the
friends
goth
were
chicks
obsessed
really
with
like
it.
this movie?
Yeah. I never got it. I think it's well done. I've only seen it once. I have no desire to see it again.
I think the musical numbers are very forgettable. I admire what they're doing. Actually, I feel like it's a little too defanged. I think they could have gone a little bit darker in a way.
Probably.
I
Who
think Oogie
knows?
Boogie, it's Oogie Boogie, right? The big ghost.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lazy version of the crocodile in All Dogs Go to Heaven.
So that brings us to Poster Boy.
Ah,
Hey,
Oh boy.
oh
good
boy.
times.
Time for that fun stuff.
There you go.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can describe what's happening, but I'm not going to ask any questions yet. I'm going to,
Two it's two kids standing in a white
well,
void, clearly looking up at something. One
yeah,
of them
what
looks like Jonathan Taylor Thomas, but is too young at this point.
what
Yeah.
are they looking up at?
Well,
That's
no,
a fun
the
bonus
girl's
for you.
looking up. The kid is the boy is looking at uh
Looking at
He's
us.
nuts.
through the looking glass here.
The
Yeah.
fourth wall.
Fourth wall, that's the
That's
one.
the word you were looking for. Good morning.
Come on, you're stage director, damn it.
So what are they either looking up at or annoyed at?
Nothing. Literally
Well, right now, what will I make appear?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the logo.
That too, but
Or some sort of crazy, magical animal that she wished for and he didn't.
I like that. That's some good bonus points. I'll give you 5 for that. So I'm gonna give you the tagline, I believe, if I remember correctly. I guess
New Line
I gotta
Cinema.
click on it. There you go.
He's big, he's bad, he's in trouble. Oh my God, is this Kazam? No,
We're
it's
years away from
too
that.
early for Kazam. Damn it.
Yeah, you might know this
Too early
once
for
I
that.
bring the creature up, but
The
Okay,
creature.
well, he called it an animal.
Right.
What was the question?
Okay, it's another Free Willy thing, something with a crazy Harry and the Hendersons.
Orca.
Or,
Yeah.
was this released in theaters or was this like
Yes.
straight
Oh,
to
yeah.
video?
Yeah, we never do
Oh,
any
we won't
TV
cover this
films.
if this is on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, there were a few straight to video videos that I remember distinctly loving.
True. Carnosaur was kind of not theatrical.
No, that was theatrical.
He's bad. He's in
Barely.
trouble. Okay, so they find some monster Sasquatch type thing.
You're
and
going a little off.
They bring him home as a pet, and he's like hiding under lampshades and things to hide from the parents.
I like this better.
And
I'll
for
give you.
once, the younger brother is in the right.
I like that. That's never happened in the 90s. All right, here you go. I'm going to give you what it is, but not the title and not the face of the creature.
Oh my God. It's like an upside down action hero in a wrapped up in
He's getting it a little bit.
You know, Jimmy
He's in
knows
a
what this is
dress.
because he watched me edit this photo, but
In a
I think
dress.
you would have known.
Jimmy's probably seen the movie.
Yeah.
Just Conan the
Who
Barbarian.
knows? Probably.
I know.
I've seen a lot of
what,
things.
I think I know what this is. I just can't think of the title.
Yeah,
It's
describe
just
what
like
you think it's about then.
sort of like a last action hero type situation where she wishes a doll would come to life,
Yeah.
and it's like a careful what you wish for situation, and it becomes just this ridiculous over the top just military.
Ready Strike just ended, and Jeff's just giving out gold, man.
I know. This is great. I like this better than the movie.
Yeah.
So
Honestly.
Is that Jean-Claude Van Damme?
that's what I was actually going to ask. Can you guess who this is? I'll give you.
Either
I'll give
Van
you 2
Damme,
more
Schwarzenegger,
tries.
or who's the Swedish guy from Rocky?
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
No, it's none of the big ones. It
Dolph
was
Lundgren in a kids
this
movie.
person was a bit of an action star in the early 90s, but only did bad films.
No, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a cameo in a good movie.
Okay.
As he's got 2 cameos in.
Is it Hulk Hogan?
It is.
There you go.
Good job.
Hulk Hogan in a dress.
So, what do you think the title of this would be, based on
Giant.
everything you've been given?
My Giant.
Oh no,
That's later on.
yeah.
That movie's later on.
Hulkamania. The Princess and the Pile Driver. I don't know.
Wow, that's a good title.
Yeah, that's actually better. There was a movie from the 80s where Michael Keaton, oh no, gender roles are switched. He has to be the caretaker for the children. So then, when Hulk Hogan has to switch gender roles, what do you think would happen?
Is this Mr. Mom?
No, but that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
He's not the dad.
Yeah, you're not
He is
getting it.
Mr. Nanny.
Do you remember Mr.
Yeah.
Nanny?
I don't.
You might still be too young in '93
Oof.
to know some of these films. I imagine you're really going to start getting them next
Well,
year.
obviously, I would remember seeing this poster hanging out of a Blockbuster, but like,
You probably remember if it actually did well and people talked about it.
Yeah, Suburban Commando is a lot better. So this is our
or
second
Well,
Hulk Hogan. Actually, I've never seen either. I'm just assuming Suburban Commando is better based on the trailers that I had to watch in front of every VHS I rented.
I remember that being in front of the Turtles VHS.
Suburban Commando was definitely
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
And this was in front of, I think, Homeward Bound.
I was gonna say I don't remember seeing a trailer for this, but
Yeah, every time I turned on Homeward Bound,
this used to be on HBO a lot.
yeah.
God knows why. It's horrendous. These kids should be in jail.
Well, you can guess the plot.
Yeah.
Wait, why should they be in jail?
They try to kill him
Oh, cool.
several times.
Oh, cool.
At one point, he's being electrocuted by by these magnetized weights, and the boy's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's low wattage. It won't hurt him." And she's like, "Well, crank it up."
Oh,
Oh my
Okay,
God.
these
I
kids
wanna
are
see
murderers.
sadistic.
yeah, I think I'm gonna watch this. So you did actually pretty well, other than not getting the title. You got a lot of bonus points, and the plot.
I got half of it. I got Mr.
Yeah,
Caretaker person.
I gave that to you. But you had a better title. You had a better plot, like the creature that or the doll that they wish for. I like that one. So
Yeah,
um,
it's like the toy.
It was just like Ted, but
Yeah.
like his movie.
yeah, like Gremlins
If
mixed
Ted
with
was a
Ted.
balding blonde man.
Yeah, yeah. Remake it now with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, brother.
So I kind of hinted at this in our notes. I didn't know who we should cover for picks of the month, but what are y'all thinking? We didn't do Cuba for Boys in the Hood, so we could cover him. We could do Dennis Leary. I don't know that we'll have him come up again. So
I don't know if there's a lot to choose from.
Oh,
I know. And that could include TV shows.
I got my pick for Dennis Leary
Oh.
already.
Dennis Leary.
Are we doing Dennis Leary?
I don't know. What do you guys think? We could do Emilio because I don't know that we'll ever have him again. He really doesn't do
we'll
much
have
else
him
after
again.
this.
No.
No, he does the 2 sequels to the Mighty Ducks, and then he has Mission Impossible.
There we go. We can see one of the Mighty Duck movies.
We're probably not going to.
I'd say Emilio.
Emilio?
Dennis Leary, I don't think we have a lot to choose from, but now you said the TV thing.
We could, yeah.
Yeah. And I already have my pick for Dennis Leary. It's like
What do you
right
think, Jeff?
there.
Ice Age for Dennis Leary.
I haven't seen much for either of them, so
Do you want to just do Cuba then?
Beginning?
Cuba has a better filmography than either of them.
What's Snow Dogs?
Well,
sure.
so Cuba?
We're doing Cuba?
Yeah,
Okay.
why not? Or Stephen Dorff?
Steven Dorff, actually.
No.
Oh.
Do you think he has a better filmography?
No.
No, but I haven't seen
Yeah, I think we should do Cuba.
Well, Cuba Gooding Jr. is going to be easy because it's a movie we actually covered, Boys in the Hood.
That's your pick?
Yeah.
Okay. Up until the 2000s, he had a decent career. He just tanked it with radio.
And right after he got the Oscar curse, kind of like Hilary Swank.
Yeah. He definitely sunk into straight to DVDs, though, right when that was starting. So
It
that's
could
really
also
the
be
problem.
his reputation for being kind of a skirt chaser.
Outbreak.
Outbreak?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. I know what Jimmy might pick.
Well, what might I pick?
Pearl Harbor.
Boat trip.
What? No, I'm not picking Pearl Harbor. No.
Okay. Men of Honor?
Oh, I know what.
You don't know me.
I know what Tristan's gonna pick.
I'm just seeing if there's anything else before I go.
I think
with
you're
my
gonna pick Rat
decision.
Race.
You don't know me.
I don't like Rat Race.
You don't? Oh, I thought you liked it.
I hate you.
Did I pick right?
Let me explain. God damn it, I give up. I was looking down the list like, yeah, Men of Honor.
I knew it. You can pick the film he's in now.
Hold on.
I think this is maybe a better performance than the movie I'm about to pick. But for things that people don't remember he was in, I was going to go with What Dreams May Come because I think that's an underrated.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's the reason it's actually good.
I don't know about that.
I think so.
yeah.
Robin Williams.
I mean, the whole movie's good.
He plays the
son of Robin Williams.
Not Dante. Who's the one that guides Dante through hell?
Virgil.
He's the Virgil of What Dreams May Come, and I think it's a very poignant performance that people don't relate to him because he'd already won the Oscar. And then
it's the movie he did immediately after.
Yeah. So it's kind of like usually people do stuff like Norbit after.
Oh wait.
But that sinks their Oscar chances beforehand.
I gotta change it. It's actually a miniseries.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's.
I'll go with The People versus O.J. Simpson.
He's very good in that. So Men of Honor, yeah. Okay, we got them all. Nice. Yeah. Good choices.
Did we though? Did we?
Yeah. Did we make the right choice in who to pick?
No.
Oh. Next month we're gonna have our 50th episode. Did you know we made it this far?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think we'll grab more.
Half a
by now. Okay.
We're half a centa.
Yeah, we're half a century. We're gonna get to like 115 or something like that.
But I think this director has done at least 50 movies.
We're covering Clint Eastwood, and is essentially his underrated gem of the decade, mostly because this year he was overshadowed by In the Line of Fire. So he overshadowed himself. It's called A Perfect World, right? It stars Kevin Costner and Clint Eastwood, and it's a little bit of a cat and mouse
Dern
too. So, Laura Dern, I didn't know that. Yeah. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have 3 cool people to choose from for that.
Exactly.
So, anyway, you all have a good Halloween, and we'll see you next month for our 50th episode.